Dynamic web pages and websites. What are they? How do they affect search engine optimization? In this short video, Matt Cutts of Google explains.
Does Google treat dynamic pages differently than static pages? My company writes Perl and pages are dynamically created using arguments in the URLs, yada yada yada. Good question. To a first approximation, we do treat static and dynamic pages in similar ways in ranking. So let me explain that in a little more detail. PageRank flows to dynamic URLs in the same way they flow to static URLs. And so if you've got New York Times linking to a dynamic URL, you'll still get the PageRank benefit and it will still flow the PageRank benefit. There are other search engines who in the past have said, okay, we'll go one level deep from static URLs. So we're not going to crawl from a dynamic URL, but we're willing to go into the dynamic URL space from a static URL. So the short answer is PageRank still flows just the same between static and dynamic. Let's go into the more detailed answer. The example you gave actually has 5 parameters, and one of them is like a product ID with like 2725. You definitely can use too many parameters. I would absolutely opt for 2 or 3 at the most if you have any choice whatsoever. And try to avoid long numbers because we can think that those are session IDs. Any extra parameters that you can get rid of are always a good idea. And remember, Google's not the only search engine out there, so if you have the ability to basically say, I'm going to use a little bit of mod rewrite and I'm going to make it look like a static URL, that can often be a very good way to tackle the problem. So PageRank still flows, but experiment. If you don't see any URLs that have the same structure or the same number of parameters as you're thinking about doing, it's probably better if you can either cut back on the number of parameters or shorten them somehow or try to use mod rewrite.
This is David Vineker of firstwebsitedesign.com and keywordseopro.com. Thank you for watching this video.